Hello, hello. Welcome in. Happy Saturday night date night to everybody coming in, the Replay Warriors. Thank you for coming in. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far, depending on when you are seeing this. So I decided to come into the studio today because it's been a minute since I've been in the studio, to be perfectly honest with you. So I thought it would be a really great idea to come in here to chat with you guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Let me pull up the live so I can see the chat. It's a lot easier just looking at the computer screen as opposed to looking at the phone. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you guys for coming in. It says there's only 5 people watching. There must be some sort of delay. I have no idea what that is even about. Hold on one second. Let's open up the screen. Okay, so there's more than 5 people watching, which is super, super nice. Let me refresh this. It says chat is disabled. Clearly, the chat is not disabled. I can see all of you wonderful folks. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. I'm just going to give it a moment. I didn't put this out there ahead of time, so people are just now getting their notifications. It's taking a minute. Okay, now I can see. I can see all the people. Hello. Hi. I feel like, you know how like if you are a person who wears glasses and you're trying to see without your glasses and then all of a sudden someone hands you a pair of glasses and you can see everything? That's how I feel right now. I feel like I can see all the things. So if you're just coming in now, no worries. I didn't really put this out ahead of time. Super happy to see all of you guys. Hi, Robin and Barbara and Aaron and Anna and Betsy and Teresa. Hi, Trish. Welcome in. Thank you for all the flowers. Thank you for the flowers. Hi, Snowy Cats. For you, I guess it's happy Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, maybe. And to the rest of you guys across the pond and beyond, thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to Saturday night date night. Even though I'm in the studio, I'm super chill, relaxed, and all the things. I just wanted to come in here because it's been a minute since I actually spent some time in here. I know I was in here for the podcast, but I come in here, I record the podcast, and then I leave out of the studio. So I figured let me spend a little bit of time in the studio here with you guys. Super nice. So how are all of you guys? I do have my coffee, Diane. Hello to you. I have my Bucky's mug. And, oh, Linda, that's very sweet of you to say that. She says, I don't like a week without you. Well, I don't like a week without me either. Hello, Anna. Welcome in from South Australia. Hi, Stacy. Hello to you. And let's see. Hi, Cherry. Hi, Juan and everyone in the chat. Happy to be a part of this amazing family. Me as well. Yes, I've been off the grid a little bit this week. If you noticed, I haven't been so present. I just needed to take some time for myself. I didn't necessarily reset, if that's the vibe that I was putting out there. That's not what I was doing. I just needed some time to really focus on my work. You know, as a content creator, I needed time to create content. And sometimes that involves me not being so present in front of a camera. You know, I needed to really sit down and put stitches on paper and design, and I can't really do that if I'm on all the time. So I took I guess the signs, if that's what you want to call it, I took the signs for what they were, and I said, you know what? The universe is speaking to me right now. I need to chill. I need to design and do the things that I, need to come on to do. So anyway, Candace, thank you so much for gifting memberships, and congratulations to all of you guys who were just gifted memberships. Sunshine Susie, Melissa, Sabrosa's Kitchen. Thank you guys so much for being here and all the things. So yeah, I designed some things, and I'm super happy to get them prepped for testing. And yeah, super excited to do all the things. So I do have other projects, like I mentioned, they're sitting there, but the well runs dry very quickly, and I need to make sure that that well does not empty out. So I took this week to really focus on projects and plans and things like that. So in the coming days, I will be more present. I'll be back in the flow of things. And I may do that from now on every now and then. I may take some time away to just really concentrate on creating content for you guys to be able to see the things, you know? Sometimes it takes time to create things for you guys, whether that be a blanket, a scarf, a shawl, a wearable, you know, different things that are coming down the pipeline. I just need to take some time away. So that's what I did. Anyway, I have snacks here. I have Nature's Bakery Fig Bar in blueberry. So I went to the Walmart to buy more of these, and they discontinued the regular ones, the raspberry ones that I get. They discontinued them. They only have the blueberry in the big box of 18, and I'm sure I can find what I like elsewhere, but I like being able to get all the things in one fell swoop. So I just took what I found. It's an 18 count box for 11 bucks. And then I got my usual Bobos, my strawberry oat stuffed bites, and all the things. And if you haven't seen these before, I know it's backwards, but it says Bobo's strawberry stuffed oat bites, right? So let's pop this open. I have to show you the inside. Look at this. Wait. Look at that. It's so, so good. Not this side, though, because I didn't break it directly in half. But if I go, I mean, it just oozes out. It's so good. Look at that. Anyway, I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it. Hello, everybody. I got to give you guys an update. So if you notice, I have not been recording with my microphone. My iPhone did an update, and after the update, the microphone no longer works with my phone. So I had to order another microphone set. I'm waiting for it to come in, and hopefully that is compatible with the update to the phone. So I don't know if it was an update that had anything to do with the new rollout of the iPhone 17, but I recently had an update. I updated it, and then all of a sudden my microphone doesn't work. So until my microphone gets here, we're going to do old school. I'm literally just turning it on and doing the things. All right. So yeah. Anyway, hi Dee Dee, welcome in, and thank you so much for the yarn. I showcased the yarn in the podcast. I'm sure you guys all saw that. That is share yarn, and I'm sure that yarn was en route to me before I put the call out, so I'm going to hold off on that yarn and showcase it when I'm able to in the near future. It's like for share yarns and things. So hi Miss Bull, hi Barb and Kimberly and Rochelle, welcome in. Welcome to Saturday night date night. Normally I'm in the squirrel's nest, I'm next door, but it's been a while since I came in here, so I figured I'd come in. Anyway, how are all of you guys? What are you guys doing? I'm nosy. I want to know all the things. Tell me what's been going on. Hi, Vic and Maureen and Samantha Stewart. Hello to you. Amanda Gets Creative. Hello to you. Happy Saturday night date night. Super happy to see you guys all here. And I say this every time. Like, I like Saturday night date nights because I don't have any pre-planned content that I need to present. I can just come on and chill. Juan, you are backwards on my phone, but the right way on your laptop. That's so strange, isn't it? I would have never known the difference. So Samantha's working on her 2-bit granny squares for Boggy Creek. Very, very nice. I think I have a Boggy in every room. I shortened the name, a Boggy. When I say a Boggy, I mean a Boggy Creek blanket. So I didn't show this on the podcast, but this is another Boggy Creek blanket. I think you guys have seen it recently. I haven't picked it up since I last showed it earlier in the week because I'm designing projects and things. So now I have to get the things back on the hook. Thank you, Darth Mom. Currently making a Meadow Gate hat with Red Heart Super Saver and carrot. That's perfect. I love that. You're working on a Nana June for Boggy. I love that. See, you guys also call it a Boggy. I'm working on a Boggy. It's a Boggy Creek blanket. I love it. So good. You're making a baby blanket for your cousin. Juan, I've been knitting a patchwork coat. Wow, That's amazing. Wow, that's great. I wouldn't even know the first place to start with knitting a coat. That's insane, but in a good way. Peggy is doing the offset V-stitch after you did it. Well, that's nice. This is an offset V-stitch too. Very, very nice. Be beautiful. Hi, Juan. I'm sorry I'm late. Don't be sorry. You're here, and that's all that matters, you know? So just out of curiosity, how many people like making blankets circular? Like star burst blankets, circular blankets. I did one for Boggy Creek. That was like a circle per se. But how many of you guys like star pattern blankets and like round blankets? I don't know how popular they are. I know it's an acquired taste, but mandala blankets, okay. Lisa's working on to pique my interest, okay. No circle or star for you. It is an acquired taste. I do know that. A star, yes. You want to learn the star blanket? Well, I have to tell you, if you look up crocheted star blankets, there's a pattern for every point except for one or two. And yeah, it starts with like a 5-star, 6, 7, 8, you know, and all the things. Just curious to know. I like them. They're just not very practical. That is a very good point there. Done a circle, never a star. Making a blanket with the crawler stitch. Very nice. Love that. Circle or star blanket would be great for a change. And that's the thing. Like, we've been making blankets rectangular, square, you know, all of that. And I thought, okay, well, why not a circular blanket, like a mandala blanket? Why not like a star blanket? Now, I'm not creating that for the crochet along. So before anyone makes the assumption that I'm making like a star pattern blanket for the crochet along or anything like that, that's not the case. I'm literally just asking. You like a good circle? You're very non-traditional. I love that. Okay, so Renee mentions she loves them, but it seems like it takes so long for the outer rows. That is facts. That is a true story. The further out you go, the longer it takes to make a revolution around the sun, around the center. The thing with me is, if we're talking mandala blankets, I need variety in the stitches. If I know I am like 5 feet around, you know, or I'm sorry, if my width is like 5 feet, I'm looking at potentially 600 to 800 stitches in the round. Okay. That's a lot of stitches. I will not, actually, I don't want to say I will not. I prefer not to do the same stitch for 600 stitches. So my point is, if I'm going to do a round blanket, like a big one, I'm going to need variety in the stitches. I'm going to need to have a sequence of stitches that will allow me to get from the beginning all the way to the end without falling asleep. That's my only issue with a circular blanket. I need variety of stitches. I mean, because I find them boring. It's almost like, I don't want to say, no, it's like, okay, it's like a back and forth blanket, you know? You're doing the same stitch and you're going back and forth and all you're doing is flipping it. It gets boring. I need varieties. So that's my only hang up with it. But if I were to choose between a circle blanket and a star blanket, I would have to pick the star blanket just because there's more movement in whatever's going on. But even with that, I need variety of stitches. I don't want to do the same stitch for all the stitches. It gets boring. So yeah, I would need to do like a stitch sampler or something where there's variety. It gets me excited, and you know, I'm looking forward to like making sure that all my stitches fit, and you know, I get to use stitch markers to make sure that like all my things are in the right place. That's the thing for me, you know. You need a baby blanket for a boy in 3 weeks. Baby blanket, the easiest one, 6mm hook, 4-weight yarn, chain 101 chains. It's going to give you 3 feet. Go back and forth with double crochet, change your yarn. If you need it really fast, double crochet back and forth, chain 101, and your chains count as a stitch. Go into the fourth chain from the hook, go back and forth, and there you have it. 3 feet by 3 feet. You can't get any quicker than that. There are other patterns that I have. Let's see here. There are other ones that I have on my channel that you can try. They're very quick. Timber Trails is a really great pattern. It's a go-to for many people. Baby blankets, blankets for the house. I also have Twins Crossing, which is really nice for a baby blanket. It's got a lot of texture there. Super, super fun. But if you're not into all the stitches and the color changes and things, you can always take it old school. Make your chain with a hook size larger than the one you're going to work with, and then go into the fourth chain from the hook and do double crochets back and forth until you're finished. I mean, yeah. Hi, Kendall. Welcome in. Hi, Sugar. I see all of you wonderful folks in here saying hi to all the people. Love that for us. Hi, Stacy. Would love to see a motif blanket tutorial or mal. Like a square or a circle? Very curious on what you mean by that. I have to make a baby boy blanket by the end of the year. So I have a baby blanket pattern. I just haven't gotten around to actually rolling it out. It's my a circle. Okay. It's only math. I mean, yeah, it's math. Hi, Darlene. Welcome in. Timber Trails and Nanogen, your favorite blankets. I love that. Thank you so much. And there's more coming down the pike, guys. I mean, I have that Queen Victoria blanket that I'm just itching to roll out to the channel, but I just haven't had the time. It takes time, you know what I mean? Ew, math, Amanda says. Yes, you kind of have to love geometry and mathematics in order to do, you know, blankets like that. Because if your math isn't right, it's going to be cattywampus. It's going to be crooked. It's going to be an oval, or like some sort of weird circle where one side is more bulbous than the other side. It's always busy in here, but good to see you. I'm super happy that you're here, Vic. Even if it is busy, I love all the folks, you know. I've gotten better with the comments because I have them here and I have them here. So it's a fail-safe, so I can see all the things, you know. So yeah, cattywampus project. Yes, right? Is it a square, or is it a circle, or maybe a rectangle or a rhombus? We won't know. Or maybe even a parallelogram, but yeah, in the other direction. I love it. A cattywampus project. What shape is it really? It's the shape that you want it to be. Hi, Bon Bon. Welcome in. I'm having a great day. An oval would be cool too, right? But is it really an oval? You know what I mean? Depends. Freeform crochet and then guess the shape. It would be perfect. No two shapes are alike. And then the directions would be like, throw a few of these stitches in this row here, but then frog 3 out and then add 7 more. You know, skip 5 stitches, but then add 12 in the next stitch. So good. Take 3 steps forward and then take 5 steps back, but then 12 steps forward, and then make a left turn, and then go ahead and frog, I don't know, 3. I always thought about doing like a recipe that has you going forward, but then pull a few stitches back, but then, you know, do some drop stitches 3 rows down, you know. I wonder what people would think if they got like a pattern like that. I don't know what I would do if I got a pattern that told me to frog 3 stitches, but then add 12 more, and then go down a few rows and do some drop stitches, front post double treble crochets, I don't know, and then a shell stitch. Oh, your first corner to corner was supposed to be a rectangle, but ended up a diamond. I just pretended it meant to. Right, Linda, that's perfect. We love that. My sister, she tried crocheting a corner to corner one time and it didn't come out as a square. I want to say like a parallelogram, you know. It was like this, not a diamond, but like this, right? So she said, Juan, come help me. And I said, well, where are we going? We're walking to the backyard. She's like, I need you to help me fix this blanket. So I think I was 19 at the time. Anyway, so we're in the backyard, and she's got these spikes that you use for badminton, for the fence. You know, you put up, I know it's not called a fence, but it's the thing that you hit the birdie over. I don't know what you call that. Anyway, we have these spikes that you're supposed to like hammer into the ground to hold the fence up, you know? Anyway, net. It's the net. Yes, thank you. You can tell I spent a lot of time playing those kinds of things. Anyway, she takes the spikes and she uses the ground, the grass in the backyard. And so what she does is she takes the one spike and she puts the spike in all four of the corners. And mind you, it's the way she crocheted it came out like this, you know, parallelogram. All right. So she takes all four corners and she spikes it into the ground. And in the ground, it's perfectly square. And then she takes the garden hose. She takes the garden hose and she sprays down the blanket. I mean, it's in the middle of summer. It's hot as all get out. And she's just wetting this thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, isn't this how we're supposed to make it straight again? And I said, no, your stitches were wrong. And she says, yeah, but someone told me all you have to do is pin it down and wet it. And then all of a sudden it'll be straight. I said, but why are you doing it in the backyard? And why are you using the spikes for the game, the badminton thing? And she's like, well, the blanket's thick and it's the only way that I feel like the blanket will get straight. I'm standing there scratching my head and I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is this woman thinking? I mean, first of all, let's put reason to logic, okay? We're in the backyard. A blanket is laying on top of the grass. You hosed the blanket down. Did you not realize there's like dirt underneath the grass? And did you not think that there's like, I don't know, living organisms that may crawl around in the grass, that may get up in the blanket? And then you're going to be leaving it there because obviously you want it to dry, right? You're blocking it. And I said, I don't think this is how it's supposed to go. Oh, well, she reassured me that I was completely wrong. I was all kinds of wrong. And we wound up leaving that blanket out there for 3 days. So it was left out there for 3 days. Okay. And if you cover grass in the summer for 3 days, you can just imagine what's up underneath that blanket, right? So we go back outside. She's like, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to show you how it's supposed to be done. This is how professionals do it. I'm like, Nancy, this is not how professionals do this. And she said, just watch and learn. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm new at crochet. I'm only 19. And anyway, we take the spikes up and immediately, as soon as she takes the first one, it bing, like a rubber band, it just bounces back to however it was to start with, because the shape was just so far removed from what it should have been, you know? Anyway, so we moved the first one. We don't really see anything. We moved the second one. Well, then we started seeing things, right? So we started seeing things hop from around the grass, and the color of the grass changed a little bit, and it was just very weird underneath that blanket. I don't know exactly what she used to wash that blanket, but whatever she used to wash that blanket did something to the grass underneath the blanket. Anyway, long story short, she wound up taking that whole entire blanket and throwing it in the trash. She had to, because it was just disgusting. The color of the yarn changed underneath the blanket. There were things in the stitches. I mean, it was really, really bad. And I said, is this how we're supposed to be doing these blankets? I mean, you said you knew how it was supposed to go. I don't know if this is how it was supposed to be. I mean, listen, I'm only 19. I don't know any better, but something tells me, first of all, we don't lay blankets on the grass in the backyard and hose them down with a garden hose. And we sure as heck don't use spikes from the netting of a badminton game to hold the blanket down. And we don't keep it out here for 3 days. Well, she forgot to mention that she hosed it down every day for the 3 days. She told me that after the fact. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I'm definitely not getting any crochet advice from you. Secondly, I'm just going to really focus on my stitches and make sure that everything's the right size and it's going the same shape. Because I don't want this to happen for me. Because I don't want to spend all this time making a project to only then have to throw it away because I'm listening to your advice. Sorry, but not sorry. We're not doing that. I am not putting my stuff outside on the backyard. She's like, well, where do you expect to block it? And I said, well, how about we use the carpet? I mean, something tells me that I can use the pins from Mom's sewing machine and pin it to the carpet and leave it there and maybe use like a hair dryer and put it on low heat, maybe, I don't know. And she's like, no, that's not how you do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just guessing here because I don't know, but I think for sure this is not how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to put this out back on top of the grass. So ever since then, I did not take any crochet advice from my sister. And I learned from watching that whole disaster that one, she just wasn't really good at, I guess, figuring out solutions to all the things. I don't know. Anyway, needless to say, she crochets, but not like me at all. Like I can do a blanket in 1 to 2 days, like a Boggy Creek blanket. I can do it in 1 to 2 days. It'll take her a few weeks to do a Boggy Creek blanket, which is understandable, you know. She doesn't run a YouTube channel. And, you know, she doesn't have the responsibility of like creating content. Hello, Amy of the Lake. Welcome in. We do not plant or finished objects to block them. Absolutely correct, Jeremy. I don't know what she was thinking. Absolutely insane. That was cattywampus. Shape, smell. I mean, it even smelled weird. I don't know. But needless to say, I never used the carpet in the house as a teenager to block any projects. I was too afraid to because of my sister. I think she traumatized me. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, that was my experience with my sister with crocheting. And, you know, like I said, she crochets, but she's not fast at all. And that's fine. It's just that I can't really talk crochet with her because let's say we both start a project in January. Now, this is a true story. This happened. My niece, I think it was 2002. I don't know. It was my niece's birthday. And we started a project together. She used pink. It was that powder pink, the color that I do not like because that's all they ever talk about. Anyway, she used pink, Red Heart Super Saver in pink. And I believe I had medium gray. Anyway, she made a blanket, double crochet one row, half double crochet the next, and she alternated, and that was her blanket. The entire blanket, all one color, those 2 stitches. That was her plan. Me, on the other hand, I decided to add other colors. So I used gray, burgundy, black, white. And I'm doing the moss stitch back and forth. So that my niece's birthday is in August. So we started that blanket in August. I went to go meet her Thanksgiving. You know how family meets together for holidays? So I went over to her house for Thanksgiving. And I said, hey, Nancy, how's the blanket coming? Are you done? And she's like, what do you mean, am I done? No. I said, why not? You started it in August. I mean, Tasha's birthday was August the 2nd. Like, it's Thanksgiving. Anyway, she said, did you finish your blanket? And I said, yes, it's in the car. She said, let me go see it. I need to see this. So I went to the car. I pulled out the blanket. It was twin size. You know, I didn't really make big blankets back then. Twin size. Anyway, showed her my finished project, micro fringe and all. I did not sew in my ends back then. In fact, what I used to do, and I don't recommend this, let me just preface this, I do not recommend this. Back in the day, I used to cut my ends right before the knot, and I would leave probably, let me show you. Okay, so imagine this is the end of my work. I would cut and leave about that much left, okay? I would take matches or a lighter, and I would burn it all the way down to the knot, and then I would take my hand, go like this, wet my fingers, and then go like this, and I would wet it, and I would melt the acrylic to my work so that it would never, ever, ever come out. And I know that's not how you were supposed to do it, but that's how I did it back in the day. And I've evolved. I don't do that anymore, but that's what I used to do. So anyway, my project only had the micro fringe on it. And anyway, she says, your work isn't done. Your work's not done. There's all your ends that you have to sew in. I said, okay, watch me. So I had her hold the blanket, and I took the lighter, and I'm lighting the blanket at the knots. And she says, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're starting a fire. I'm like, listen, just watch. So I'm burning my ends, and then I'm melting the tails, and I'm squeezing, you know, because I don't know if you know this, but when you light up acrylic, it turns into like a liquid. Anyway, so I just take it and I flat it with my fingers, you know, I'm like this. And she's like, well, what happens if you want to frog your work? What happens if you want to use this yarn in the future? I said, no. So I went ahead and I melted the acrylic onto the work. And she's like, don't ever do that. That's not good for the environment. That's not good for the house. I said, listen, you wanted to know how I did it, and I'm showing you how I do it. Anyway, so that was me. And I said, now let me see your blanket. Let me see what you're working on, because you have this beautiful pink blanket that you started in August. Where is it? So she goes to her room, she pulls out this blanket, and I kid you not, she used a J-hook, 6mm, 150 across. She chained 150, double crochet one row, half double the next, and alternated. She only had about 12 inches finished, and that was it since August. And I said, Nancy, did you work on anything else? She says, no, this was enough. I mean, look at all these wonderful stitches. I said, are you kidding me? You only went 150 across and you only have 12 inches done? What have you been doing? And she says, crocheting. And I'm like, when? She says, I spend all my time crocheting. I'm like, I'm going to need you to show me how you crochet. If you've been working on this since August and you only have 12 inches done, 150 across, that leads me to believe that you may have only picked this up once or twice since August. It's November. Why do you only have that much done? And she says, watch and learn, Juan. She's talking to me like I have no clue what I'm doing. And I got to tell you, my sister, my sister is the slowest crocheter. I mean, and she's crocheting like she is proud as punch. Like she says, come here and look. Let me show you how this is supposed to be done. I don't know how you do it, Juan, but I'm going to show you the correct way on how to crochet. And I'm like, there is no correct way as long as our stitches look exactly the same. She says, no, Juan. Of course, you're doing it wrong. It's only done right if you do it the way I show you, you know? So she goes and does all this fancy stuff with her fingers. She's doing all this. She's like, you're supposed to wrap it around. You go like this, and then you wrap it around 3 times. You have to see 3 loops on this hand here, or else you're not holding your yarn right. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, what do you mean hold it like this? You're not supposed to hold it like that. All the books and all the things, they tell you to hold it like a pencil. You're supposed to hold it like a pencil, Juan. I'm like, yeah, okay. And she does this, and then she's like, you need to really, and she's serious as all get out. She's looking at me like this. She's like, and you really need to look at these loops. Okay, Juan? And when you yarn over, you need to make sure that that's not too loose and it's not too tight. You need to really look at this, Juan. And then when you go into that stitch, you better stare at that stitch, and you better make sure that when you go through that stitch and you pull that yarn through, that loop needs to look just, and she's pointing at, and she's like, that loop needs to look just as good as that loop. Come here, Juan, look at this loop right here. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? All these stitches that you got to do, and you're looking at it like that? And she says, yes. Every single stitch needs to be the exact same measurement. And I said, are you measuring these loops or something? I don't understand. And she says, no, Juan, precision. And she just was serious. She was so serious. I'm like, it's not that serious. She's like, but look at my blanket. And I looked at her blanket, and I got to tell you, every stitch looked exactly the same. So I said, all right, hold on 1 second. So I went to my trunk and I pulled out a double crochet blanket that I had, and I showed it to her. And she was like, did you crochet this? And I said, yes. And she takes it from me and she's looking at it. And when I tell you that my sister's looking at this blanket, she's like this. Hold on. Let me grab something comparable. Okay. So here's one of my blankets, okay? She's like, it was a double crochet blanket, and this is how I do my double crochets, okay? That's my double crochets right there. So she's looking at it, okay? She's looking at it like this. I kid you not. She is nice. She's looking at it like this at angles, and she's like, you see that loop right there, Juan, is not the same as that loop right there. That's wrong. You need to frog all this out. You need to get to this stitch right here, because that one loop is just not correct. And then you have another one over here. You call this crochet? You call this a blanket? What is wrong with you? No, that's not how it should be, Juan. And you come down here and you look at this. The height of this row doesn't look like the height of the other row. And you're talking about getting all of your crochet done fast. Who taught you how to crochet? And I told her who taught me, our own grandmother and our own aunt. And she says, I need to call them right now, because they didn't show you how to do anything. If you need a teacher, let me show you. I said, no, thank you. She says, what do you mean, no, thank you? I said, no, I need to do this for my own sanity, to get myself away from all the things. This is creating more of an issue than what it's worth. This is supposed to be relaxing me, not stressing me out. I said, now I understand why it took you so many months to crochet just that little bit. She's like, yeah, but it's perfect, isn't it? I said, yes. She's like, say no more. Say no more. My blanket is perfection. And I know that when my daughter gets this blanket, she's going to hold on to it for years and years and years. And there's not going to be a single thing anybody can say in the future about this blanket right here, because it is perfection. I said, how much did you pay for that yarn? I'll never forget it. She said, 2 skeins for $5. Why? And I said, it's not that serious, Nancy. It's crochet. You're supposed to have fun with it. She says, I am having fun with it being perfect. So that's how she is, My sister is OCD, and that's when I learned that she had crochet OCD. If we had the ability to pull out a magnifying glass to look closer at those stitches, we probably would have done that, Will she see this video? More than likely, yes. Yep, my sister does watch my channel. Actually, all of my sisters, fun fact, all of my sisters watch my channel. I think almost everyone in my family watches the channel. She's gonna see this. And she's probably gonna be surprised that I remember this story from way back when. I think, how many years ago was that? It was 2002. So yeah, 23 years ago. Yep. And I remember because Red Heart Super Saver, this pale pink and 2 for $5, double crochet, 1 row, half double the next. I'm probably going to get a phone call, and that's okay. And I can comfortably say at this point in my juncture, I can literally tell her, like, hey, Nance, seriously, I just want to let you know that although you are OCD with crochet, not that we're measuring, capability or anything like that, but yeah. Oh, yes. My sister does not mind. See, I like telling my sister that I'm better than her in crochet. She doesn't like to hear that. So she's perfect at it. And I got to give her that. I will give her that. She is one of those crocheters that goes very, very slow. But It's perfect. She does not, rush. Before she does it, she wants to make sure that she understands where everything is going. She wants to know the tension. She wants to know all the things, right? Me, on the other hand, I'm very haphazard. Give me the hook, give me the recipe, I'll crochet it. If it doesn't work, I'll frog it. But not her. She wants to know everything ahead of time. And she goes very, very slow. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going slow. That's not my point. I think that it's perfectly okay to go slow. In fact, if going slow ensures your accuracy, then yes, I'm 100% behind you on that. As long as it doesn't get to a point where it starts to affect the enjoyment of it. If you're going slow and you're enjoying it, keep doing it. But if you're going slow and you're hating it because you're going slow, well, then let's work on that. Because at the end of the day, this should be fun, right? I mean, that's why we do it. She did finish the blanket. It took her 2 years to finish the blanket. Yep, she finished it in 2004. As a matter of fact, she finished it the week before Christmas in 2004. So it took her two years and a month. Yep. And that was the only project she worked on. It was the only one. It took her 2 years. And when she showed that blanket, she was proud as punch. She was like, look at this, Juan. Do you want to see what a perfectly crocheted blanket looks like? Like perfect? I said, are you serious? Perfect? She was like, yes, Juan. Go grab your ruler. I said, I don't want to grab my ruler because it really doesn't matter to me. It's not that serious. She says, it's a perfect blanket, Juan. It is perfect. To the measurement. She was like, it's 48 inches across, I think she said, and it was like 72 inches long, and it took this amount of skeins and all the things. She was like, it is perfect. I'm like, well, I trust that your blanket is perfect, but I want to let you know that, like, I love that for you. I don't think I'm going to like that for me. And I didn't like that for me at all. So, yeah. Meanwhile, my mom, the family declared her as, the granny square queen, because it was literally the only thing that mom ever worked on, granny squares. And she made it in every way possible. And she did all the blankets. I mean, you've seen a lot of her work, granny squares, right? Anyway, we couldn't really go to her with anything, because she would have to stop to tell us all the things. So all we could do is watch mom crochet. And my sister could not stand watching my mom crochet, because my mom was one of those crocheters that, she knew where her stitches belonged. Do not interrupt her. Do not, tell her that she was wrong in any of the things, because she will let you know, listen, this is my one hill. Okay, granny squares is me. My one hill, let me stand on top of my own hill. Go do all the other things. But when it comes to granny squares, if you're going to do it over there. Don't do it over here telling me I'm not doing it right, because this is how I like to do it, and no one's going to change that. That's always been my mother. 100%. My mom has always been, this is my hill, let me stand on it. Hello, oodles and caboodles. Thank you so much for popping in. You just finished a 12-star, 15 skeins, 7-foot Afghan. I love that for you. So good. So yeah. You love that saying? I added on to that, Peggy. I love that for you and for me and for us, right? Let me help you, help me, help us. It goes without saying, right? When it comes to crochet. Oh, by the way, tomorrow for Crochet with JTYA, I've gotten a handful of requests from you guys via email and direct message. A lot of you guys would like to learn a few things. One of which is how to thread super bulky and bulky yarn. You want to thread your projects, and you want to know if I have any tricks and tips about how to thread and do all the things. So that's the one thing I'm going to show you. And then there was another one on foundation loops. So I was introduced to crochet foundation loops from Trisha, Mama Swift, when she did the textured cabin throw. Well, when she did that, she opened the floodgates, because now I became curious. I'm like, well, is this the only size that you can do? Well, I quickly learned that you can do those foundation loops in all the different sizes. So I got an email. People are asking, like, can you show us how to do the foundation loops in different sizes? And what kinds of stitches would you put inside of those? So that's going to be tomorrow. And if you guys have anything else that you guys want me to add to that, just be sure to come back and leave a comment. Let me know. I'll check in the morning before Crochet with JTYA. But if there's something else you guys would like me to show you, I will show you how to do that. What is a foundation loop? So a foundation loop is something that you can create without, it's something that you can use instead of chaining across. So when you're doing a back and forth blanket, instead of going into all of your chains, you can make loops and go inside of the loops. And it saves a lot of time. And you can create different size foundation loops depending on what your project is. Like if you're doing a shell, like a big shell, 7 to 9 stitches, you're obviously going to want a bigger foundation loop to fit all of your stitches. So how do you create those bigger foundation loops? Or how do you make the small ones for just 1 or 2 or 3 stitches? So I'm going to show you how to do all that. Also, you can use foundation loops to create poncho tops. Like you can create the neck of a poncho using foundation loops. I can, show you guys all the different ways that you can work those foundation loops up. The possibilities are endless. And so Trisha, thank you so much for introducing me to that, because the doors have been open. The floodgates are coming out. And yeah, I did like a double treble foundation loop and I fit like 12 stitches. I mean, there was a lot of stitches in there. I fit 12 stitches in that double treble foundation loop. So yeah, so much fun. So the Crochet with JTYA is 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after my morning Zoom. Like it, I love it. I played around with a rectangular blanket starting with that foundation loop, which is another way that you can use those foundation loops. You can use foundation loops to start your rectangle blanket instead of going with the chain and then around, and it actually saves a lot of time doing it that way. So anyway, did you guys all watch Podcast 101? Don't forget, we have replay treats at the very, very end of the video, in case you cut it off before the end. I did it on purpose, guys. I was very strategic. I'm sorry. I'm normally not like that, but I decided to be strategic because I wanted to make sure that you guys watched the podcast. I work really hard on those. So I did the replay treats, and then we took a break and I opened up Happy Meal. And I bet you maybe some of you guys were like, didn't he say that there were replay treats for this podcast episode? Like, what happened to that? And then I waited until all the way at the end to do those. So just to show you the yarn, there's that. And then here is this. So those are the replay treats for that. And if you're waiting for a package from me, be patient, please. I had a very, very busy week, so I am behind the 8 ball. All the packages are actually done, ready to go. I just have to physically get them there. So that I will be doing Monday morning. So tomorrow, everything is closed. So Monday morning, everything will be shipped out. Okay. Cotton and Blink is exactly it. You're doing a Nana June in rectangle with foundation loops. Yeah, it's actually, I don't know if it's going to be my go-to, but it's my go-to for right now with all the different kinds of projects. Hi, Nicole. Welcome in. Super happy to have you here. So delicious. Anyway, I'd love to master joining 2 yarns together with the magic join, please. Okay, I'll put it on the list. If time permits, we will jump into all the things. Magic loop, join. Magic loop, join. Okay. Game changer, right? I mean, it's honestly, it's things like that that makes this very valuable. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of things that I would have never knew about unless I came to YouTube. And I cross paths with a lot of you guys. I mean, I wouldn't have known a lot of things, So I'm very grateful. I'm just like you guys. I absorb everything and I share and all the things. So it's great. Anyway, you watched the podcast but forgot to go back. I love that. Jaxie raves about the foundation of, yes, she does. Podcast number 101. Constant learning process. Yes. And there's one thing, guys, that I like, if there's one thing that I really want to learn, seriously, like all kidding aside, I want to learn how to work with plied yarn. As a left-handed crocheter, and I'm not going to chalk it up as that being the reason, I have such a problem working with unplied yarn. Unplied yarn. It's like just a bunch of thread in a straight line, and I've tried every hook that I have and I still can't get the flow of it. I've tried the bead, I've tried a weighted bead, I've tried different sizes, I've tried different hooks, and the consistency of my stitch changes, and maybe one or two of those threads pop out, it doesn't stay in. I mean, I know it's a me thing. I'm not blaming it on the yarn. It's a me thing, and I gotta figure out a way to make it work for me. But I see so many other people work with this stuff and it comes out beautiful. And I'm like, how did you guys even do that? Non-plied yarn takes practice. Practice it does, but I think there's a technique that perhaps I need to pay attention to when I'm working with that yarn, because I don't think you can work with that yarn like you would Red Heart Super Saver. I mean, the way you have to hold it has to be a little different. At least that's what I think. Ugh. Hi, Tank. Welcome in. Hello, Renee. Yeah, Podcast 101. Perfect. I'm so grateful that we have gathered here to learn from Juan and support. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really do appreciate that. You hold it the same way? Well, I hold it the same way, and I have nothing but issues. I have a Stenley muffin tweed still sitting on that stand with the pole, and it rotates. It's been on there for a year. I mean, talk about transparency. It's been there for 12 months, and I really want to use that stand again, which means that I have to get that muffin tweed off of the stand, and I don't want to take it off and it be something else that sits and stash. I want to actually finish something with it so I can just use it up, you know? I don't know. I wonder if an inline hook works better with the unplied yarn. I have 2 cakes I haven't tried yet. Yikes. Yeah, I look at some of these cakes and I start to panic. I'm like, how is this even going to work? And the thing about it is I have tons of unplied yarn. And I got it because of how beautiful it is. Hi, Nancy. Welcome in. So, I mean, we'll see. But I do have a laundry list of projects that I need to get on the hook. Like this yarn right here. I need a fall shawl scarf type situation. So I'm going to choose this yarn for my next shawl project. Do you guys think that if I do a tutorial with this yarn, you're able to see the stitches? Is it going to be too dark for the tutorial? I try to stay away from darker yarns because I don't want anyone saying, well, I can't see the stitch that you're trying to use, Juan. What do you think? You think this would be good to use for a tutorial? Because if so, then I will go ahead and use it for the tutorial. It's not too dark? Okay. All right. I see a bunch of yeses, guys. All right. You guys know what I'm thinking, right? You already know what I'm thinking. I have a feeling that if I were to use a darker yarn for a tutorial, we will have people in the comments saying that yarn is too dark, Juan. We can't see the stitches. I'm just saying. I've had it happen before. But I will I'm going to do that. I'll record a tutorial with this yarn. I'll make a scarf or a shawl, if you will. And how many yards is this? 231 yards. I have 4 hanks of this. So 231. I have just over 900 yards, which is, I think, perfect. I think it's enough for a scarf, you know? So, all right. Thank you, Sabrosa. Black is hard to see. Also, like that slate gray, I think is hard to see. I think that's difficult as well. Like all of those darker yarns. I'm not sure. But anyway, I will give it a try and see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? But you guys think it will be fine. So I'll go ahead and do it because, yeah, 924 yards. I think that would be enough for, like, I don't want to say a tight scarf, but it's not going to be loose and, I don't want to say loose. It's not going to be wholly like, a summertime situation, because we are in autumn right now going into winter. So we shall see what becomes of this. Very, very nice. So Margaret is making a granny square blanket with a size, is that a D or a 0? A 0 hook. Wow. So this is DK weight. Is this DK? Yes, this is DK weight yarn. I got this from Sandhill Yarns. Well, actually what had happened was Sandhill sold out within minutes of the release, but a dear friend of mine was actually able to get her hands on a bunch of these, and she sold me 4 from her stash. So that's how I got this. So yeah, and the name of this is called Copper Shadows. Absolutely gorgeous. Margaret is a superhero, right? 0 hook. I don't even know how that even happens. Juan, whatever happened about your pattern kits? Do you have them available? So I had pattern kits available. I put them in the Etsy store and they sold out within the hour. So, I mean, I didn't put out many. I put out, I think it was like 5. I put 5 of them out. They were for scarves, and I didn't even have a chance to sit down and record like, hey guys, I have kits in my Etsy. They sold out within the hour before I had a chance to record and post. And so, yeah, I think the way I'm going to have to do it, guys, is I just have to put it on there. If you have your notifications turned on, you're going to get that notification, because I'm not even putting it out there and my stuff is selling before I have a chance to tell you guys. So, yeah. Yeah, just stick to it. I mean, just make sure your notifications are on, and then as the things drop, you'll get notified. And hopefully, what I need to do is put a lot out at one time. That way, everyone has an opportunity to grab the things, You need an assistant to make up lots of kits for you. Well, what I need also is time. I need time. I need my own patience, because I have a tendency to not be patient. So yeah, I need patience, I need time, and all the things. But yeah, so question for you guys. If I were to put more crochet kits out in my Etsy store, which ones would you guys like to see kits for? Like, of my patterns, what would you like to see? Would you guys like to see maybe enough yarn for a crochet along that I held back in another season, or a shawl, or a blanket? So Deb is saying blankets. Okay. I do have a handful of blankets on my channel that I can make kits for. Shawls. Okay. So a little bit of everything, maybe? Shawls. Okay. I can do that. Autumn Aspirations kit. Nice. Hats and shawls, cow blankets, blankets, please. I love this. It's so good. An assortment. Okay. I'm just reading the chat, guys. So an assortment, hat and scarves. Sure, a little of everything would be cool. And then we can do like the One Skein Wonders with like the beanie and the scarf and things. I think that would be really nice. Cardigans. A little bit of everything. Okay. All right. Any mitten patterns? I have never made a pattern for mittens on the channel yet. We're still new, right? We're still a new channel. We haven't been around long enough to have all the things. A poncho. Okay. Well, I do want to let you guys know, I can tell you guys, I don't have to show you, but I can tell you that the members of my channel, the ones that you're seeing in green right now, they were gifted a pattern that I have been sitting on for about a year. And I finally put out a poncho pattern. And because this month is my anniversary month, my podiversary month, all the members of my channel received the poncho pattern. And I got to tell you, I absolutely love that poncho, and I cannot wait to show you guys that poncho. And there will be a tutorial rolling out for you guys for that poncho. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it. Super, super nice. So I guess, can I say the name of it? I mean, the members already have it, so it's not like it's a secret, right? I can say it. I try not to tease too much, you know what I mean? It's called the Canyon Drift Poncho. It's the Canyon Drift Poncho, and I gotta tell you, it looks very nice. The Canyon Drift. So it's a Clint Eastwood style Serap style poncho. You make 2 panels and you join up the front and up the back, and there's a neck hole you put your neck through, and you just wear it just like that. And it's absolutely wonderful. I love it. And I use James C. Brett Marbled Chunky, and the colorway is MC6. And if you're not sure what MC6 looks like, it's Premier Puzzle and Anagram. So it's got the browns and the teals and the taupes. It's a really nice colorway that I chose. Are you going to put it on Etsy? My patterns are on Ravelry right now, and yeah, so just Ravelry. Can't wait to make it. Yes. So I don't know how many of you guys actually received the pattern, but I know a bunch of you guys reached out to my pattern person. By the way, guys, I don't manage the patterns. I have a person for that. So I write my patterns, I give them to the editor, and then between me, the editor, and the pattern person, everything gets taken care of on the other side. So I know a bunch of you guys emailed me asking me like, hey, Juan, can you send me the pattern? I don't hold on to those patterns. The pattern person does. We're 2 different people because, you know, trying to offload some of the stress, you know, so someone else deals with that. And that person is not me, thank goodness. So finally we got the pattern, the Canyon Drift Poncho. And, you know, I got to tell you that I was very anxious about putting out a poncho. I don't know what took me so long, but now that one is out, I'm excited to do more of them. So yeah, stay tuned. Now that we have one out, you know. Hey Tracy, welcome in. Super happy to see you pop in here. Happy Sunday. I think it's Sunday for you now. Yeah. But yeah, so all the members got that poncho pattern. I will be rolling more out in the near future. I'm not going to wait too long. I'm going to, maybe in the crux of the winter, I may drop another one. We'll see. You love the color. It's going to be fun to make. Yes. And I'm not really good at like posing for pictures, especially with projects that big. So I did the best I could with what resources I had. You know, I couldn't go outside when I took the picture, so I did it inside. So as long as you're actually able to see, you know, that's all that matters. So very, very nice. So the crochet along that we're going to be hosting, you guys have decided, as I mentioned in the podcast episode, almost 1,000 of you guys voted in total, and almost 90% of you guys voted for a crochet along for the cowl. Out of almost 1,000 votes, that's nearly 900 of you guys who voted for a crochet along. So we're going to have a crochet along for the fall instead of a make along, which is fine. And I did tell you guys that once I got far enough along in the project that I was going to talk about it. We haven't gotten that far yet, so let's not get too excited. Just know that it's not a star blanket, and it's not going to be a circle blanket. It's not going to be a mandala blanket, so don't have to worry about that. But what it will be is a blanket. Juan, please, you look good in that pic. Well, thank you so much, Sugar. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate your kind words. What yarn do you recommend for the poncho? Julia, the yarn that I recommend for the poncho is any yarn that you have in stash that you're looking to get rid of, or any yarn that you think you look nice in as far as like a wearable. I try to be as inclusive as possible. I am not going to be the person to tell you that just because I use James C. Brett Marble Chunky, that you should as well. I'm not going to be the person to say that. But what I will tell you is look at your yarn that you have in stash and think to yourself, what colors would I look good in as it being a poncho? And then go from there, you know? That's the best piece of advice that I can give you, but I would stick with a medium 4-weight yarn or a 5-weight yarn, like a chunky weight yarn. Yes, I would stick to those two colors, or two weights of yarn. All right. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, and if you are a member of my channel, if you're looking at yourself in the chat and you're green, then you need to look back in the post on the post tab, and you'll see a post in there that will give you instructions on how to obtain that pattern. And there is all the information. Just be sure to read that, because I'm not sure if all of you guys got it yet. I'm not sure. If it is a blanket, can you help with making a lap? I don't do well with large blankets, and I don't do them. So a lapgan, yeah, we could do one of those in the future for sure. Yes, use what you have. We're going to have a whole kickoff call too, like we did for the Wildflower Oasis. We're going to do a kickoff live, and I will show you all the things, and I will tell you guys, you know, how much yarn you're going to need. I'm going to tell you what hooks that you're going to need and all the things. I will tell you guys, with my poncho, I did not use like a foundation loop. I went old school. We did the chains, and I hooked up one size for my chain, and then I hooked back down to my project size and worked up my project that way. And yeah. Am I able to tell you how much yarn for the poncho? Yes. Well, all of that will roll out for the channel later. So all the members have that information right now. If you're not a member, you're just gonna have to wait until I roll it out later on. Okay. Shay, thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much. I need to click the thumbie. Thank you, thank you. Just so that you guys know, all of these super chats and things are going to the postage for my blankets. So far, I've been very, very thankful and blessed by a whole bunch of you guys. You guys are helping me get my blankets to Florida. I can't be more thankful. So thank you so much. Hi, Deb Dow. Welcome in. Super happy to see you pop in. But yes, thank you guys so much for that. How much yarn did you use for your offset V-stitch shawl? So I only used one ball of Caron Big Cake, 603 yards. So I had 3 yards left over, 600 yards for this purple one right here. 600 yards. Piece of cake. It's a one cake wonder. I was going to say one skein wonder. No. It's one cake. Very, very nice. And I do have, what did I mention? Okay, so the Easy Breezy, by the way, took less yarn. So this is the Easy Breezy one. If you're looking for, depending on where you're seeing me from, it may be really hot where you are. You can use cotton yarn and crochet. I did this with 500 yards of yarn. So it's a bunch of windows. It's a window scarf. Okay, I'm using Puzzle Cotton. Yes, Puzzle Cotton is really nice. How many yards and size yarn did you use for your Angel's Gate shawl? So I used Caron 1 pound, and I used 3 skeins of yarn. Now I didn't use the entire skein of yarn. Each skein comes with 812 yards. So I want to say about 1,700. Thank you guys so much, Jeremy and Sherry Astrahan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me hit the thummies for that. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. I have to prep those blankets and get them to Nancy before the postage goes up. Do we know exactly when the postage is going up here in the States? They announced the hike. I think it's the first week of October. I'm not exactly sure. But yes, thank you guys so much. Wow, 20. Wow, so many of you guys. Anyway, yeah. October 5th. October 5th. Oh, my stars. Yes, I got to do all the things before October 5th. And I don't know what's taking me so long. Like, I have all these blankets. If I didn't have all these blankets piled up everywhere, I would take you out there and show you. I literally have all the blankets. I need to get them to Nancy. I hope I don't overwhelm her with all these blankets, but they need to go down to her as soon as possible. So anyway, yes, Kathy, how is everyone doing today? Tell me all the things. How are all of you guys? I hope you guys are all well, right? And I have been extremely busy, yes. This last episode of the podcast, 6 finished blankets. Yep. So, Lori, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Jess has to work tomorrow. I'm so sorry I'm sorry for you. You know, you're going to miss the Zoom tomorrow morning, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, thank you guys so much. I don't know what the count is right now, actually. I'm going to have to look back and count. So we had 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. You guys are too kind. Seriously. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. If in a perfect world, I would pack everything up in my vehicle and drive it down to Florida. All right. Have a great night, or good morning, Tracy, right? It's morning time where she's at. Have a good night / morning, Tracy. Have a good sleep. Ship the blankets to Nancy and don't answer her calls for a week. Oh my. Or text messages, right? So don't pick up the phone. Don't look at the text messages if she sends me any. Like, oh my goodness, Juan, what are all these packages? And by the way, while I have all of you guys, this week, within the last few days, I received blankets from you guys. Jody, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to kindly ask you guys to not send me your Boggy Creek blankets because I now have to pay to get them to Florida. So if you're sending them, just send them to her. I sent some packages already to Nancy. I'm going to have to send more. I got some this week. So public service announcements. Send the blankets to Nancy. Please. I beg of you. All right. And I'm sure they're going to mention that on Wednesday as well. You're sending your blankets out on Monday? Nice. I think once I hit my goal of 50 blankets, I'm going to relax with it for a little while. Thank you, Kitty Lane. I appreciate that. You keep being awesome too. Return to sender. My post office place will not allow me to do that. I tried it. She was like, sorry, we don't do that here. I'm like, what do you mean you don't do that here? She says, sorry, Juan. Once we receive the packages, it has your name on it. We receive it all the way. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my God, people are still sending blankets to you. Almost every live they say not to. Only send to Nancy. Yeah, they're still sending them. Yep. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. She says, love your energy, Juan, my YouTube crochet buddy. Yes. So can I ask you guys a question? You know, I'm full of questions. I'm newsy and all the things. I thought about something. How many of you guys would like more than one crochet with JTYA? Like, not crochet, whipping it with Juan. Like, what if I did more than one? Like, what if I did 2 each week? Like, because I'm sitting here crocheting anyway. What if I turned the camera on and just recorded a video and then just dropped it and gave it to you guys so you had something else to watch? I mean, I don't want to bore you to tears, but I'm literally sitting here crocheting anyway. And I mean, I can just talk out loud instead of keeping it all to myself. That's how I'm able to get all my finished objects that I show you guys for the podcast. I'm sitting here crocheting it all up anyway, you know? So you guys are saying I should do more than one crochet with JTYA. Why am I saying it that way? Whipping it with Juan. Maybe, is that a sign from the universe? Do I need to change the name of that? No, we're not changing the whipping it with Juan. That's what we all know. We know it's whipping it with Juan. Crochet buddy, all the things. All right. Okay, so, all right, fine. What I'll do more than one a week. So many of you guys are saying, yes, I love it. I love that for me. and you and us. I love that for all the things. I love that. But what I'm going to ask you guys to do in the next Whipping It with Juan is maybe put in the comments what you would like to for us to talk about, you know? So it's not such a one-sided conversation. As long as it's yarny related, right? Like, hey Juan, can you talk about those yarns that we saw the other day at the place? You know, the place with the thing and all the things? Or just ask any question yarn related, and it gives me some talking points to talk about, because I don't know about you, but like some people might not want to hear me talk about a cake of yarn for 45 minutes. I mean, I could definitely do that, but I'm sure at some point people will start to tune out and be like, he's talking about that one cake for a very long time. Juan, pick up another scheme. Talk about that other thing. Let's not talk about this one right now, you know? Right, refused on the package. Your post office clerk is lazy. Yeah, I think so too. Just between us, I think so too. Put a poll in the comments, and the next episode will be that. Oh, I love that. Yes. You guys have the best ideas. The other idea I had was maybe bring up, you want to hear about my newsy neighbor? Her name is Penny, by the way. Did I tell you guys her name is Penny? I know quite a few Pennies. Her name is Penny, and she is very, very newsy. She is. I was bringing package. See, I'm doing it already. I'm doing it. I got to tell you this one thing. So I was preparing for the podcast, and I was bringing in some boxes, the Happy Mail boxes. She was outside talking to the post lady. We have a lady that comes up and down the street. Anyway, she's talking to, and she immediately, she's like, hold on, hon, hold on. He's out in the driveway. So I see her, I mean, bless her heart. She's just going as fast as she can, which is the speed of icebergs. So she's just taking her sweet time walking around, and I know that she's coming to see me. So I hurry it up. I go and meet her at the end of the driveway. So her driveway and my driveway, she's rushing down the end of her driveway. I'm coming, and we meet like right here in the middle. Anyway, I'm like, hi, Penny, how are you? She's like, I'm good. Listen, Juan, I have a question. I said, sure, ask away. She says, I never thought to ask you this before, but are you married? I'm like, what brought this up? Well, I don't ever see you, with anybody, and I don't ever hear you talk about anybody. And the mail lady's such a nice lady. And the mail lady asked me, and I have no idea, and she told me that I know everything that's going on. And see, the mail lady is not wrong. The mail lady told her that she knows everyone's business. She knows all the things, right? And so she comes to me and she's like, so do you have anybody? What's going on with that? And I said, no, I don't have anybody. And no, I'm not interested. I'm focusing on my mom. I'm a caretaker. I run a YouTube channel. Now that you know, I run a YouTube channel, and I have a whole entire day job and all the things. I don't have time for that. She's like, well, you need to make time. And she literally touches my head, and she's going like this. She's like, the clock's ticking. I said, what is that supposed to mean? She was like, the clock's ticking, Juan. I mean, you're a tall drink of water, Juan. And there's this nice mail lady. She works every single day. She doesn't miss a beat. She is such a nice lady. Can I bring her down here so that you can meet her? And I'm like, okay. She's clueless in Cleveland. She has no idea about any of the things. And I like it that way. Anyway, so I play along with the game, clueless in Cleveland, but we're doing the things. So she's coming down the driveway. I'm at the sidewalk by the street, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, the mail lady. And the mail lady was like, hi, Juan. She knows me, but I don't know her, right? Because she does my mail. So she knows who I am. I'm like, hi. Apparently, Penny wants me to introduce myself, but you already knew my name. What is your name? She's like, well, my name is Monica. I'm like, okay. Hi, Monica. nice to meet you. And then Penny's standing there and she's like, well, I'm sure you guys have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to go back to the house. And I'm like, thanks. What exactly did you guys talk about before she came rushing over? She was like, I have to tell you, she is so on trying to get us to at least have a conversation. And I don't know how to break it to her. And I'm like, what do you want to break to her? She says, I'm married and I have children. This woman is married. She's got a whole house with kids, husband, all the things. She's just there to do her job. And here she's playing matchmaker. No clue whatsoever that this woman is just not interested, you know? She's got a whole life. Anyway, so I'm like, listen, Monica, I'm not going to keep you. You can go back and do your thing. Thank you so much. Maybe we made her a happy woman today. I'm not exactly sure. She was like, fine. She went about her way. And then, of course, Penny, instead of coming down the driveway and coming across, she flags me down. She's at the front of her house. She's like, signaling me to come over. So obviously I'm the faster walker of the two of us. So of course I'm going to leave my property to go onto her property. So I'm there and she's like, okay, hold on 1 second. So she made me stand there. She runs in the kitchen. She makes herself a cup of coffee. I'm still standing there waiting for her to have this conversation. She came out with a fresh cup of coffee for herself. She's like, okay, hold on. Let me sit down. She sits down. She's got these two, I don't want to say Adirondack chairs, but they're like chairs with a little circle table in the front. Anyway, she sits down. She's like, have a seat, Juan, have a seat. So I'm sitting down and she's like, okay, I need you to tell me everything that you guys talked about. I'm like, what? You set me up to have a conversation with her and now you want to know everything? She's like, yes, I need you to tell me every single thing. Everything you guys talked about. Did you like her? Was she nice? You liked her voice? I'm like, she's a very nice lady, yes. And she was like, okay, so what became of the conversation? Don't leave me in suspense, Juan. You know I live for this. I'm like, I can tell this is a lot for you. You just love this. And she was like, okay, so I feel like there's something you're not telling me. And I said, well, there is something that I'm not telling you. And it's about Monica. She's like, oh my goodness, what? What is it about Monica? She's perfect. I'm like, for who? She's like, I think you guys look amazing together. Yes, I've done this before, Juan, many times. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. She knows what she's doing. All right, fine. I'm still playing along with this, right? We're just doing it. And so I said, well, I hate to break it to you, Penny. She's like, oh my God, what? Is she sick? I'm like, no, she's not sick. She says, okay, tell me. I'm like, Penny, you have to let me talk. Like, every time I try to tell you, you're interrupting me. You're telling me the things and I'm not telling you anything. Anyway, she's like, okay, fine. I'll sip on my coffee. Talk to me. Tell me the things. I'm like, okay. I don't know if you know this about Monica, but Monica is married with kids. No, I didn't see a ring on her finger. I said, yeah, she had the ring on her hand. She's married. And she also has children. Like, she has a husband and she's got a house and she's got a family and all the things. You tried setting me up with a married woman. She's like, oh my God, Juan, I'm so embarrassed. I cannot believe this. She's like, I could tell she was emotionally distraught over this. I mean, this woman, this is the highlight of her month probably. And like, I destroyed it by telling her that our mail lady was like married with kids. Anyway, so I reassured her. I said, listen, have no fear. It is absolutely okay. I understand your heart was in the right place. She's married. She's got kids. I'm a caretaker. I have a day job. I run a YouTube channel. I'm extremely busy. I have this much time. If you can see anything between these two fingers, that's how much time I have. I don't have any time for anything. And she's like, well, can you change that about that one? And I'm like, no, I can't. And she's like, well, why not? I said, people rely on me, Penny. People rely on me for all the things. And she's like, Juan, that's not healthy. She was like, tomorrow when Monica comes, I'm going to apologize to her. And is it okay if we come to your house? I'm like, that's not necessary. No, no, no. She's like, I got to come to your house and apologize to both of you guys because I feel like I overstepped. I said, I promise it is absolutely okay. It's perfectly okay. No harm, no foul. I know that you were doing the right thing and all the things. She gave me this huge hug. She was like, you were such a sweetheart. She's like, I have some other people in mind. Are you interested in that? I said, no, I'm not interested. I can totally do it on my own. I promise. I'm old school when it comes to that. I'm very upfront in your face anyway. So I have no problems in that department, but no, I'm good. So that's my story, all from getting packages out of the back of my car. So yeah, I have a very newsy neighbor. Thank you, Deb Dow, for suggesting a story about my newsy neighbor. And that was something that she suggested for the podcast. Anyway, so yes, we have commotion, but it's neighbor driven. So love that for us. Yes. Newsy neighbors. Okay, there's a double-edged sword with newsy neighbors. With newsy neighbors, you know your house is always secure. They know every single thing. If you drop a piece of paper on the sidewalk, not only do they know the piece of paper that you dropped, they know the color, they know the time that you dropped it, they know the size of the paper, they know which way the wind took it, and they know who may or may not have picked it up. Like, they know all the things. The flip side to that is that they know all the things. Sometimes it's not okay that they know everything, you know? So, yeah, we don't want the neighbors knowing every single thing. It's just not healthy, you know? That's why there's driveways splitting the houses. Or no, better yet, there's walls. We have walls splitting up houses because, you know, if we were all meant to know each other's business every single minute of the day, we'd all be in the same room all day long, every day, you know? Anyway. I love her to pieces. She's such an amazing lady. I mean, she's lived her whole entire life. She's told me all the stories. She's an amazing lady. But I think with a woman of her age, with absolutely nothing at all to do all day long, it opens up the floodgates to just get her hands into things that maybe she shouldn't have her hands in, right? So anyway, I take it with a grain of salt. Too much time on her hands. And she reminds me of the lady, you know the show Bewitched? Bewitched, the mother. So it's the mother. She's got the red hair with the curlers and the house coat and the slippers. What is her name again? Miss Kravitz. Yes. Miss Kravitz. And she's got too much of the eyeshadow. Too much, you know? Too much. That's Penny. Mm-hmm. I have my own Esmeralda. Yes. That's my neighbor, Penny. Yep. And I love that. I mean, I love that I have a newsy neighbor, but then again, part of me doesn't like that, you know? Anyway, so that's my story of the day. Neighbor is Gladys Kravitz. Yes. No, okay, so the person I'm thinking of, she's got the red hair, her eyes squint a little bit, and she's got too much eyeshadow here. She does magic. I think maybe she is the witch's mother. The mom. Yes, it's the mother. Not the neighbor. It's the mother. She looks like the mother. The mother Endora, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. So no, not Miss Kravitz. She looks like the mother. She's nosy too. If you guys remember watching that show Bewitched, the mother's just as nosy as this neighbor. They're two peas in a pod. Mm-hmm. Absolutely 100%. Did I really just do this? Magic? Too funny. She hates Darren. She's always hated that guy. Don't know why. Totally insane. Acts like Gladys Kravitz. Yes, Endora the Mom. Yep. So much fun. Well, anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this live. It's been fun. I feel like I haven't been on for a while. Even though I was here, I haven't been on. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live. We've been on for an hour and a half. And just stay tuned for all the things. So tomorrow morning, we have Crochet with JTYA at 10:30 Eastern. If you're interested, we're going to be doing some projects and things, tricks and tips. For my members, the officials, we have a Zoom tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, my time, Eastern Standard, we have our Sunday Live. All right, guys? So that is all from me for now. And until the next one, take care. Bye.